just have the 1 hour. The 1 hour today as we get you set for the Super Bowl between the Patriots and the Seahawks. I'm looking at a sign over here to my left. You got Marcus Lawrence, you got Sam Darnold for the Seahawks, you got Drake May and Christian Gonzalez representing over there on the other side. I got plenty of people I'm looking at here, and all kinds of folks who are in the know in terms of the media side of things, and it will be an exciting week in terms of all the names. If you want to check out who's coming on the show, we got plenty of the lineup on my social medias right now. I gotta believe it might be on the ESPN Fresno social medias at this point if you want to check that out as well. And it's going to be an exciting time to kind of talk about all the different things that are going to be going on. Joe will be joining me at some point during the show here. He's running the stream. If you want to check out our stream, we're going to be posting some of these interviews we're going to be doing throughout as well. Check them out there on our YouTube platform, ESPN Fresno, for you as well. Very excited to get that going. I'm very excited to bring on the guy who will be manning the helm on the other end. It is Jorge, who is going to be over in Fresno the whole week with me, guiding us along the way, making sure we're on air, making sure everything is going to be working out for us here on Radio Row. Jorge, how are we doing? How are we feeling? Super Bowl week, are we excited? You sound like you're just bursting at the seams with excitement, Jorge. I can feel it already. Let me tell you, I can just already tell you're begrudgingly just like, just the idea of Seahawks stuff all around the city of San Francisco. I've seen so much Seahawks here already. I got to imagine as a Niner fan that might be tiresome for some folks here who are feeling it in terms of that. Are you tired of it yet? Have you gotten fatigued from seeing all the stuff put up at Levi's and all the stuff on social media? Are you starting to turn a little bit on? Oh man, I really don't think I can handle the Seahawks winning here on Sunday. Some of them not make this game happen now. Well, we did have an earthquake this morning, I think, right? You see the 4.3 earthquake? Yeah, so some people are feeling it already. Super Bowl week already rocking here for the big game. Well, how was your weekend, Jorge? I jumped the gun on the question here. How was your weekend on this pre-Super Bowl weekend? I'm glad you brought up the boxing, because did you see what happened in one of was it a boxing match? Did I see that? I can't remember. A guy literally losing his hair in a match this weekend. Did you see that? The heavyweights, of course. He hit his hair off. Hey, he handled it nicely though, right? Because he was able to kind of bounce back, and didn't he throw the toupee somewhere? Like, he threw it around and sharing it with the fans there in terms of that. His hair fell off. I saw they were handling the toupee around in some viral video. You see everything in sports, man. That is crazy. Certainly, certainly. You said you watched golf this weekend. I watched a little bit of the golf. Golf, honestly, didn't really have the most excitement in terms of it. Justin Rose just dominated this weekend at Torrey Pines. So, good for him. I don't know if you had any takeaways from the golf this weekend, or Jorge. If I'm trying to get you into the sport, I wouldn't say that was the gateway tournament I would want you to watch in terms of. Yeah. Nah, yeah. Everyone was playing for second. Hey, it would have been a hell of a tournament for if Justin Rose wasn't playing. That second place race was crazy, but that's how it goes sometimes. Yeah, for sure, for sure. Well, some Fresno State basketball, of course, this weekend. They got the win over Air Force, so we can continue the season, Jorge, with the Fresno State basketball team. That's safe to say. They got a nice win over Air Force. I'm sure you're happy to see them take down the Cadets there in terms of that. So a little close in the first half, but even without a lot of Deshaun Gorey, they were able to handle kind of some of the stuff that they were able to handle in terms of that. So good on them for getting a win. I can't remember where they're at next week. I think they're back at home, but I got to check the date on that. We're just kind of winging it this show in terms of what we're talking about here, of course. It's 1 hour. It's the Vibes Hour here at 3 o'clock, and hope you're enjoying it as well. Let's get to some big news here. A sports story brought to you by Valley Pure. And this sports story is about the Niners. And the Niners hiring defensive coordinator Raheem Morris, former coach of the Atlanta Falcons. Of course, they were looking to replace Robert Saleh in the position. Robert Saleh, of course, going to Tennessee. And Raheem Morris steps in. And now I think this is a good, obviously, replacement for the 49ers. I believe 49er fans have to feel good and confident about this. The one thing you can take from, in terms of what Raheem Morris led defenses look like, it was, in fact, the sacks and the ability to rush the passer. The Atlanta Falcons were one of the top sack teams in the NFL last year. And guess what the 49ers struggle with? Not only just the turnovers, but also the idea of sacking the quarterback. Of course, that was missed with Nick Bosa going down for injury, but I got to imagine Niner fans are feeling pretty good about a bona fide defensive coordinator coming in, a guy who used to be a head coach, so he has a little bit of a level up in terms of the respect for it, and a guy that I think a lot of people don't realize. I think the teams play for him in some sense, because you saw the Falcons, they were out of it for the rest of the season with 4 weeks to go, and they were able to kind of handle some teams down the stretch and win some games and got really close to a playoff spot, even though they were eliminated for quite some time. So this guy could probably get a lot of stuff out of these defenders. I think he can get some guys who can play a little plus a level above what we're asking from them, and I think this is a great hire for Kyle Shanahan and this crew in terms of getting Raheem Morris as the defensive coordinator. Jorge, your reaction to Raheem Morris becoming the defensive coordinator for the San Francisco 49ers? He went to the Rams, I think, for a little bit. If you don't remember, he went to yeah. Yeah, I think it's going to be a great thing for the 49ers. And of course, The question is, what kind of players are they going to bring in terms of supplementing this defense? Of course, the hope is you get addition from just the injury guys, Fred Warner coming back and Nick Bosa coming back. And so your idea is that you don't really need to sign the free agents necessarily or make a big splashy move when your splashy move is guys just getting healthy, right? Guys just getting healthy in terms of Nick Bosa and Fred Warner, right? So it's about drafting and elevating. You're going to get Michael Williams back in terms of the injury part as well, your first round draft pick, and hopefully what he can kind of turn into in terms of that. So I think there's a lot to get excited for the 49ers. It's just a question of can this group put it all together? Can they stay healthy the rest of the way? Of course, there's going to be all kinds of substation talk around here in San Francisco, I got to imagine, in terms of that conversation. So we are looking at a lot of different storylines for it. Even if you don't like it, even if you think it's bull, whatever, it's going to be a story no matter what you're going to take from it in terms of that. And I think the story is validated by the pair of teams and where they're deciding to practice, or hey, they're not practicing in Santa Clara. The Seahawks are going to be in San Jose at San Jose State. The Patriots are going to be at Stanford. So I know you want to ignore the story, but the story's here, and it's probably going to be here for a while. It's the substation story. Come on, don't play dumb with me. I know you know what I'm talking about there. Come on, man. Yeah. Okay. All right. We'll see. Maybe some substation talk at the opening night tonight in terms of the NFL side of things. Anyway, all right. We got a good show. Just an hour show today. No guests on the guest list, but I think I'm going to get Joe on the headset here in the next break and get his take on our journey so far. We made the drive up. Getting a little initial thoughts on what we're expecting this week in terms of it, and maybe our first blush look at the game coming up as well. So, Jorge, let's take a break, and when we come back, continue Behind the Bench live from Radio Row here in San Francisco on 1430 ESPN Fresno, the Central Valley sports leader. Wait. To my right. So in a while now, we're kind of getting all set up here in terms of Sirius XM's over there. To my left, ESPN. I see the Pat McAfee show set up to my right. So they got it all ready to roll in terms of the television sets here. So imagine if you're going to be watching on the ESPN channels in terms. We weren't quite sure which way we were gonna go in terms of getting into San Francisco, but we decided let's take the Bay Bridge route because why not? Let's get a little vibes, California vibes coming into the city. It's the only way to go into the city, right, Joe? In terms of that, the Bay Bridge, the visuals, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, it was really cool. I mean, the city, it's been a while since I've been here, as we were talking about. Yeah, fun to be here. It's pretty awesome so far. Right now, it's really chill. We've been saying it's not until like tomorrow. And Wednesday gets a little hot.
I heard Wednesday gets a little psychotic in here in terms of that. So it's going to be exciting. I already had a couple of heart attacks today, but luckily heart attacks averted. Joe, I don't know, Jorge can tell. Joe told me in the car, and we're about in Turlock, and we're at a point of no return here. But Joe told me, "Oh no, I forgot the cameras." And I sat there and I said, "You got to be bleeping me," in terms of that. And I look at him, I'm like, "Are you serious? Like, where would they be?" And I remember looking at our 790 studio, because we got the 1430 studio and then we got the 790 studio. And 790 is where Jorge's probably hanging out right now at the moment. And I saw in the 790 studio only one camera sitting there. And I'm like, "Joe, you sure you didn't like put it somewhere?" And then he like remembered, "Oh yeah, I actually know it. I do remember putting cameras into a bag that we have in the car, so I think we're okay." And that was the first heart attack today in terms of that for Joe. So Joe, appreciate the first heart attack. Got my blood flowing. It woke me up this morning.
No, we're putting you on your toes, as I said, because yeah, no, that scared the crap out of me. As soon as I thought, I was like, "Wait, like, put the cameras in there." But I stayed extra late Friday just to do all that fun stuff. So.
I know you were good about it. I was like, "Yeah, he's gonna remember everything, right?"
No, I did. I stayed way late just to like make sure everything was in there. Whenever we got there this morning, obviously I'm not a morning person. Everything's in there. Let's go. But it's in there. We have the camera. I have an extra one I'm working on right now. I'm sure if you're watching the live stream, you just saw my face. I'm trying to figure out the microphone on that. For some reason, it's wanting to. Yeah, I gotta fix that. But I'll have it fixed by tomorrow. But yeah, we'll have multi-cameras and stuff like that. So I'm pretty stoked for this.
Of course, we got into the city, and it took about 30 minutes for us to get to where we needed to go, just like in the span of like 5 blocks, Joe. Like, it was unruly. I was getting a headache. I was getting a massive migraine just from the frustration of like, where are we going?
No, I mean that felt definitely like some LA traffic stuff in the middle of downtown. It's just because of all the media stuff that they got going on, and we got roads blocked off. So.
The one-ways everywhere.
I not too often do I feel like a tourist, but I totally felt like a tourist, and that's all good.
This reminds me of why I take the BART into this town instead of driving.
No, that's what I was telling you. You go stop at Hayward and take the BART here because you're just there. You got to deal with traffic.
Yeah. Well, you were here. We set it up, and of course, we're glad that we're connected through this, and hopefully everything works for all 5 days we're going to be here in terms of it. So bear with us if we have a little bit of some technical stuff, but so far so good in terms of that. Joe, we walk into this room, and you're looking around, and man, I'm like, we are in the thick of it. We are at the NFL hub, as they say, in terms of what's going on around here. What stands out? You got all the banners around here, all the Super Bowl banners sitting around here. I got Super Bowls from back in the day, back when the Dolphins. Remember when the Dolphins could play in the Super Bowl, Joe?
No, I don't ever remember that.
I
honestly.
got banners up here.
What was it, 84, 85? That was whenever we movie. Yeah, I was a born yet. So. Yeah, I don't know about winning, but no, it's pretty cool. I mean, right next to us, we were talking about. I showed on the Instagram Pat McAfee set. That thing is fat.
Yeah.
It's got a little set going on, so we're pretty close to that. That's kind of cool.
We got like a trailer here, ESPN.
Yeah, there's like a
camper
let's see,
over
turn
here.
This way. Let's see. If you're on the live stream, you can see it's like a big trailer thing. I don't even
Yeah.
know what that is. It's like a camper thing. Yeah, I think it's like an Airstream, but it's all big.
Yeah.
But no, it's pretty cool here. I mean, as far as like the scenery, like I said, we got here super early, so not everyone's set up. The tables next to us are kind of empty right now.
I imagine they're showing up later in the week.
No, that's what the IT guy, because we're having issues with the internet. Of course. IT guy was telling us that around Tuesday, Wednesday, it gets busy, and then what do you say? Thursday was the awards thing. Or something?
NFL honors.
There you go. So he
is
said that one's
Thursday.
really crazy. So, yeah, it's been pretty cool getting here. Obviously, we're live, so that's extra fun. But it's a continue to do a lot of work. I'm pretty stoked to just get this going.
Well, I think we have like international folks around. We got Ireland next to us
yeah,
here.
I've heard that.
And we got like some Espanol station over here. I think we got like Brazil next to us in terms of so. I don't know if they thought Fresno was like somewhere in across the seas in
Yeah,
terms of
right.
it, but it said no. Hey, we're in California. There are some familiar faces. We've seen some people. There's some other Fresno folks here as well, and it's gonna be exciting. But Joe, Super Bowl week, we're here, and the game, of course, 6 days from now on our channel. And I just want to just first blush, because now we can. You figured it out?
I think I did.
You got the camera set up?
So I can do myself in a little. Oh, cool! I'm gonna do it like this.
Your little
We're
picture?
Yeah. We're like streamers now. We're like legit streamers now.
Joe, you're addicted now. You're addicted
This
to
is
the
kind of
streaming
cool.
stuff.
I'm not gonna lie, this is cool. I'm gonna get into this a little bit more. This is
Yeah. Joe's going to become a full-fledged streamer by the end of it. He's going to be streaming some stuff from the hotel and playing some video games or whatever.
So not only that, I have an extra camera here which I'm going to use. I think I'm going to try and add that one so we can have like a sky, not a sky cam, but
Just like a
ambiance cam.
ambiance cam in terms of that,
It's kind
right?
of cool.
But I was going into it with the NFL, with this game, and if you had to pick one storyline to think of about this game as you figure out the stream stuff, what's your first thoughts on like what part of this matchup you're most looking forward to seeing in terms of how it'll play out here?
I think Drake May playing a good defense.
Okay.
I think that's going to be a real test. I think you got to see Sam Darnold against a good defense with LA. So it'll be interesting to see what May does against these guys, because obviously they're stout, they're disciplined. This is going to be a good test for him. So that's what I'm most excited about.
And he has been tested, like not gonna lie, in terms of the tests for this game. Thinking about what he's faced in this playoffs, right? Starting with the Chargers, who, for the most part, have been a decent defense so far this year. Then the Texans, which people thought was a Super Bowl defense, Super Bowl winning defense in terms of the Houston Texans. And then the week after with the Broncos, everyone kind of felt like the Broncos were a team that was strong on the defensive side as well.
Yep.
So is there something to the battle-tested nature of Drake May against Seattle where he's facing another test? And while it hasn't been perfect, it's not like he's not used to it, right? In terms of this matchup between the Seahawks and his offense, has it been productive? You would say it's below average in terms of the productivity,
Yeah.
but has he had his reps? I think that's something that's fair to say, as opposed to, on the flip side, what Sam Darnold has faced, which I would argue was against the subpar defense in the 49ers. Just no ifs, ands, or buts about it from the personnel that they had.
Yeah, they just hurt.
And the Rams defense, which we know the pass rush is very good. They had some questions in terms of secondary ability and some questionable situations. It was a middle to upper tier level defense. And so the question is, what can Sam Darnold do against the defense that, by the way, is historically having one of the most incredible runs through the postseason right now in the New England Patriots? The Patriots, who have only averaged giving up, Joe, 5.8 points per game this playoffs. And I know you're going to hedge it against Well, it was, Jared Stidham scoring only 7 points, and it's C.J. Stroud having a complete mental breakdown in New England.
No,
And there's Justin Herbert, who was running for his life, and he had two guys starting on the offensive line that could barely crack an NFL roster. And sure, but you have to be advantageous as a defense if you're going to take advantage of bad play. Something Vrabel always talks about in these matchups, Joe, is good teams take advantage of the bad mistakes.
Right.
And the Patriots have done the best job at taking advantage of the bad mistakes throughout this postseason. The Seahawks have as well, but the Patriots have as well, in consideration on both sides. I know I'm going to sound like a Patriots person in terms of that. I'm just trying to sell the game right now in terms of it. But I think people are overlooking the idea that the Patriots have been able to take advantage of mistakes better than anyone in this postseason, including Seattle. And that's what I'm looking at in terms of this match.
I mean, being a Dolphins fan, being tortured by New England for 20 years, that's kind of what they've always done, right? I mean, find their weaknesses and exploit them. So I think that's just something that Vrabel's obviously learned from Belichick, and he's using it in the playoffs like he should. So, it's working. That's all you can do. So that'll be very interesting to see how well Vrabel will translate this in such a big game, because we saw what Darnold did against LA, and I think that isn't impossible for him to do again against a good defense. I saw another stat. It was like Christian Gonzalez and his homie, the guy across from him.
Carlton Davis.
So when they're together, they're 14-0.
Yeah.
So I mean, obviously that stuff is scary. They're both going to be there. Gonzalez will be there, obviously. And I feel like if Darnold, this is his biggest test too. Yeah, I like what the Patriots are doing. Like you said, they're exploiting people. That's what they've been known to do, and I feel like as long as they keep it up for Sunday, what do you exploit with the Seattle?
Well, here's what Seattle's issue is, Joe, and it's a consideration to think about. Darnold's been perfect through this playoffs. He has not turned the ball over, but he's had 20 turnovers
throughout the season.
This season, he does give the ball up considerably more than other guys who've been in this situation. And so the question is, if he gives it up, how can the Patriots exploit that in terms of will they be able to capitalize when Sam Darnold, if Sam Darnold is going to turn the ball over? The question right now is he going to do that or not in this game? And I could equate Sam Darnold's run to kind of like what Joe Flacco did. Remember Joe Flacco, when he won in 2012, it was 8 touchdowns, 0 turnovers through the 3 or 4 games he played, and he was incredible throughout that run. And that's why the Ravens went on to win the Super Bowl, because Joe Flacco had a perfect run through the postseason. So my question is will we get a Sam Darnold that's perfect throughout, or will we get Sam Darnold turning the ball over in a dumb way? Will the Patriots force it in a crazy way? Is Sam Darnold going to be able to read this defense in a way that he's going to diagnose and find a way to get the ball out in an efficient manner? Darnold can sometimes have issues of the pre-snap stuff in terms of that. Remember, it's the see and go situation. I know he's far away from that, but what's a team that does better pre-snap in terms of disguising what they do than the New England Patriots? You literally had Chargers coming up to Robert Spillane and saying, I don't know what you were in. We don't know what you were in terms of it.
My question to you is, if Darnold does have a perfect game, do the Patriots stand a chance?
No, I don't think so. I think
they could provide something even with the defense that they have. I mean,
no.
I think they can still create some points, even if it's not off Darnold.
It has to be a turnover in some capacity. I think the Patriots are about a turnover away from being the better group to beat this team. If it's outright head for head, the Seahawks aren't making mistakes. I don't think the Patriots have a shot in this game. But the Patriots are a team that forces mistakes better than anyone.
Yeah.
And so the question is where is that? What is going to give in this game? Is the Patriots' ability to make force mistakes, or can Seattle avoid the mistakes in terms of? Because Seattle, we know, is the more talented team. I think everyone knows that. You like the players more on Seattle as opposed to the players you like on the New England Patriot roster. It's just a matter of who's going to blink first in this football game, which can be either team. And whoever blinks first, it's not going to be 28-3 Falcons up and then somebody's going to come back. It might be kind of like the last time a game was played here for the Super Bowl, right, Joe?
Yeah.
You remember Broncos, Panthers? And we thought Cam Newton was on fire, and Noodle Arm Manning was not playing his greatest coming in, and Newton was kind of the hot quarterback coming in, kind of like Darnold. May wasn't playing that great, but the defense was making things happen. I think there could be a consideration of that game where that pressure by the Patriots ramps up and kind of exploits that in that sense. But on the flip side, you could have Seattle having the ability to cause issues. I'm fascinated by where it's going to go in terms of this game. You can see me kind of bouncing between both ways of how this game can go. And I think it's going to be a really fascinating game.
No, I agree. I think this will be great. I like the matchup for the defenses, definitely. I think May will have a really big impact. This is the game he gets a real good test. So, yeah, I'm excited. This is a game that I'm glad is happening because there's other guys that could have been in this I haven't been so excited about. I think. I don't know. I feel like this is just. With McDonald and what he's doing with Darnold is just quite one of the storylines. So same thing with May. I mean, being with as good as he is, as young as he is, the seasons that they've had previously, what was it, like 4 combined wins, whatever it was.
4 wins, both the last 2 seasons, so they were 8 wins combined. Only other team to make the Super Bowl after 8 wins combined after the last 2 seasons, the Bengals.
Yeah,
with Burrow.
That's pretty cool. I mean, so the storylines can be any better. So no, I'm very excited for this. I can't wait to see what May does more than anything. I mean, because I'm a hater of May. I don't want him to be good continually.
Of course not. Of course, you know. But I've been saying it all year. This Patriots team has the Bengals upside. It's the Bengals upside, but considerably a better defense in that Bengals team.
No, definitely.
But I can't wait. I cannot wait, and we're only getting started here throughout the day, of course. And Joe, I think we're going to have a lot of fun. Remind the people, because you're doing the stream side, so you're going to be getting everybody on the video side. So
yeah.
we're going to be releasing some interviews throughout the day when we record them, right?
Yeah,
I think throughout the week.
That was the plan. Yeah, I was going to try and record every interview so we can have one kind of visual name and all that. So, and then, I'm doing a live stream on YouTube right now, obviously. And then I'm recording this as well, just so I can pull anything we need. So, I was planning on doing a few things this whole week, especially with our games. So,
Joe's going to be going crazy this week with all the video editing.
It should be fun.
But you're going to be looking forward to it. And of course, I'm excited to get this thing rolling. And of course, we're excited to get this thing rolling as well. So, can't wait. All right, let's take a break because I think we got one more segment to go here before we sign up for the hour. So let's take a break here, and we'll be right back with more Behind the Bench right on 1430 ESPN Fresno, the Valley's local sports leader. How much time? I got 33 minutes. Three, two, one. All right, welcome back Behind the Bench here on 1430 ESPN Fresno, the Valley's local sports leader, wrapping it up here on this Monday. Just an hour edition today because we're going to head over to NFL opening night, the Super Bowl opening night at San Jose. So we got to catch a bus a little bit and head on down to San Jose there in terms of it. But just want to give you a little look over in terms of what the week is going to look like here. So today, just the hour. Tomorrow, we're going to go an hour and a half until we until we hit up the Pro Bowl. So the Pro Bowl is going to be happening right here in downtown SF. You're going to listen to it on 1430 ESPN. So that's what we're going to have there for you. After that, we will have our full 3 hours Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So that's what the week of Super Bowl Radio Row schedule will look like right here on 1430 ESPN. So that's what we're going to be doing for the big game here. Excited to have that for you folks. Of course, it's going to be a madhouse in terms of it. Like I said, I sent out the guest list for you folks on the social media. So follow me at Phil Donati. Shouldn't be hard to find. Donati spelled Benotti, 2 T's, as you know. Philip with 2 L's. And yeah, it's gonna be a great week in terms of it. It's gonna be a whirlwind week in terms of it as well. And I'm very excited to be bringing all the folks everything when it comes to that here on the Central Valley Sports Leader. I'm gonna bring one more little bit of news nugget on for you here before we go. And one of the weekend news items that came out, of course, was new head coach potentially locking it in, at least in terms of what we're seeing here with the Raiders. It was reported by Adam Schefter. It was either yesterday, I think it was yesterday, that it seems to indicate that the Raiders and offensive coordinator Clint Kubiak of the Seahawks or in an agreement for him to become the next head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders, which I said before, and I'm on record for saying, I thought that was the second best choice available for the Raiders in terms of the coaching crop, in terms of the folks that are going to potentially coach this team. And I'm excited to see what he is going to bring to this Raider roster in terms of the offensive ingenuity, in terms of what he is going to bring out of potential number 1 overall pick, Fernando Mendoza. Of course, Ashton Jeanty is a nice piece to be working with as well as a second-year guy who's getting used to the NFL and the speed of it and what it'll look like. What kind of offensive line he can build with the Raiders in terms of that. The Raiders, of course, struggling mightily in the offensive line department with their inability to pass block, their inability to run block throughout all the season. I know Raider fans know you're frustrated. I know you're frustrated about everything in terms of that. But it is, I think it's going to be an exciting hire for the Raiders when it comes to Clint Kubiak and his ability, what he can bring to this team. The system, the only thing that's going to be needing to figure out for the Raiders is where is their JSN going to be? Who is going to be their JSN in terms of who is going to stand out in terms of a receiver option for the Raiders and where they're going to get that kind of number 1 guy, or at least a guy who's going to be the go-to outlet for Fernando Mendoza. Maybe there's a second-round pick at wide receiver that you can make happen in terms of, or maybe the Raiders trade into the capital, dive into the capital a little bit in terms of getting into the guys they can bring in terms of it as well. There's a lot of different options the Raiders have. Of course, when you have that first overall pick, your second-round pick is almost essentially a first-round pick anyway, because you're at number 33, and so you're essentially right there again in terms of the top of the second-round talent. And usually steals are there for the Raiders in terms of it. They got to collect assets. They got to collect picks. They got to accrue talent quickly. And I think there's a path. There is certainly a path that the Raiders can find some sort of path. I'm not saying a playoff appearance next year, but at least some sort of progress. I think the Raiders would be progress over anything. It's going to be interesting to see how it turns out. Now, I do think there's a flip parallel here. And I know the Seahawks offense isn't the one that's like necessarily the most prolific. People have been kind of looking and seeing how prolific this team could potentially be in terms of it. However, Jorge just real quick. Jorge, what do you think of good hire by the Raiders? If they're going to potentially lock this down with Clint Kubiak, offensive coordinator, I felt like this is the right choice for the Raiders here. It feels like the head coach that you get. You said head coaching experience, and there's the reason I had Kubiak too, because I think we're both agreeing. My number one candidate when it came out in terms of all the coaching candidates available, I thought Kevin Stefanski was there. I thought him being the answer with the head coaching experience and the offensive experience and all that stuff, that he could be potentially the guy that would be a good move for the Raiders to do kind of an open bowl building. Was kind of a bad team. Cleveland has my only hesitation, and I did have a friend who's a big Raider fan tell me she didn't want Kubiak, or she didn't want Stefanski for that reason. It felt like it was a little more of a pushover than people give him credit for, because he kind of just let the owners run the thing. And again, maybe it's a little more dysfunctional than people give credit for in Eastern time. But outside of it, I think this is a home run hire for the Raiders. Excited to see where it'll all turn out for this team with Clint Kubiak. I think there's a lot to get excited for in terms of that, and I think Raider fans, I know, keep saying look to the draft, get excited for the draft, and unfortunately that's starting all the air signals will turn to me, but I would imagine Raider fans are going to be watching this game closely on Sunday and paying attention to what that Seattle offense is going to look like and how it will play out from there. So I think there's going to be a lot to look forward to with everything coming up in the league. So maybe some more conversation on that hiring front as well in terms of that. But, yeah, where are we at? I think we've got a couple minutes left in the show. Pretty good to wrap it up here for today's show. So, like I said, a lot of reminders that we said before, we're going to be here all week. We're going to have guests all week in terms of business a little back in terms of so a little frustration there for me in terms of it. All right. I think we can stop here, right? Jorge, we'll see you tomorrow. We'll see you tomorrow. Good show today. Appreciate it as always. And go over social medias. Super Bowl opening night. We'll be all over there. Joe and I, we're going to be having a lot of fun talking to all the teams and players that are going to be over there. So be sure to tune in. Till then, Behind the Bench, back on tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Be there. Should be fun. We'll see you then. Ooh. All right, Jorge, does that work for you? All right, man. We'll chat tomorrow.